Okay, fine. So till now we have seen few tasks, transformations, logs, event handlers. Uh, like this, we have seen few things, right? Today we are going to discuss few more transformations and tasks actually. So before starting the transformations, let's have some brief introduction. What does this transformation will do? How it we can be achieved? Okay, today we are going to discuss on the pivot and unpivot. Okay, so what the pivot will do and how we can. This is a one transformation where we can do uh, pivoting the columns. So before going to directly into the pivot, let me explain you where we can utilize this pivot option. Okay, let's say I'm having one table here. Okay, this is my table actually. So in this table, I'm having some three columns: ID, okay, and some quarter and some amount. Okay, so these are the columns available in my table. Let's say this can be a somewhat sales ID. Okay, so here I'm having one in the first quarter, second quarter, in the third quarter. I'm having some 10,000, 20,000, and some 30,000. Like this, I'm having some records actually. Okay, this is my table. So when I do the pivot here, what is my expected output is after doing this pivot, it should be comes like this actually. Okay, the same sales ID, but it will be these columns. I mean, this column will be converted as a pivot. Means it will be some uh, quarter one, quarter one, quarter two, quarter two, and some quarter three. Means all these columns, whatever here we are available, all these are converting into rows into columns, which is nothing but a pivot. To be simply saying that converting the rows data into columns. Here it is one row, right? So 10,000. So what will is my the amount here? Sales ID for the first quarter. What is the amount here? 10,000. Second quarter, 20K. Okay. So for the third quarter, 30K. I mean whatever the amount available means converting these uh, rows into new columns. Why? Because here it is now some three columns, right? Three rows. Now it is become as a one row. Got it? So like this we will do pivot here. Means converting maximum rows into minimum columns and we will pivoting the values here. Okay. Let's see one example, then you can easily understand. For that sake, I am already created one table here with till now what we have discussed. I am taking, I have created one table, sales details. In that I am having sales ID, quarter and amount. So I am having three columns. So I have inserted the data in that into the table and this is the values, means this is the table where my data exists here. I want to do pivot on this actually. So if you observe here, I am having 12 records, okay, and sales ID 1 for the first quarter the value is 5000, for second quarter 6000, for 7000, for third quarter 7000, fourth quarter same thing. Means here I am having some unique sales ID for each quarter, okay, and respective amount for that one. Like this I am having 3 sales IDs, and every sales ID having each 4 quarters and their respective values, okay. Now when I say pivot here, how many records I want to convert this one? I want to convert these values into some, see, this is my expected table here. Means when I select, when I do the pivot, the column should be converted as quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3 and quarter 4, and the sales ID will be remains the same, okay. Let me check here. I think there is an data exists here. Let me truncate this one. So when I do the pivot, the value should be converted like this. Quarter 1 for the sales ID, the value should be 5000. If you observe this one, the values are pivoting here, right? Let me open both at a time. Sorry, one second. Truncated the data so that when we do once again, it should be data should be displayed like this. Okay. Here my first quarter value should be comes to here. Second quarter value some 6000 should be goes here. Third quarter value go to here. Fourth quarter value comes to here. So how we can achieve this one? Okay, converting these 12 records into 3 records only. So sometimes we should be having this type of requirements also, converting the rows into new columns and pivoting that values. Okay, for how we can achieve this one is, so we have source table and destination table here. Okay, I have created one table and inserted the values in that, and I have created one destination table where I need to pivot these values. Okay, now I'm going to create a package, simple. I'm going to take one new package here. I will rename it as pivot, and I will take some data flow task. What is my source here? The table itself, right? So I will take table here, and I have a transformation called pivot. If you see the icon here, see, it's showing that converting the rows into columns here, right? And my destination is also table. That's why OLEDB destination. First connect the source here in the dev. What is my source table here? Sales details, right? So let's pick that one. Yes, sales ID, quarter amount. Good. We are converting this into pivot here. So this is the thing where you need to do the pivot option here. It is asking how you want to do the pivot. So every option is clearly mentioned here. So if you see, identify the group of input rows that will be get pivoted into output column, means there should be a some uniqueness which we have. Let's say this is the company ID where we have four set, right, which we are going to make it as a group by option actually. So for that we are selecting the sales ID. If you see this one, sales ID, where we have same ID, which we are going to make some group by option. The same thing it is asking here. Identify a group of input rows that will be get pivoted into one outputted row. So which is nothing but our sales ID. And values in the input data from this column will be become the new column names in the output column. So here the quarter is going to be converted as a four quarters, right? Quarter one, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4 means this column is going to be pivoted, which is converting as a new column into the new table, right? So that's why we have to give the pivot key value as a quarter. Okay, and the values from this column will be mapped into new pivot column values, which is nothing but a its respect to amount, means for the first quarter first sales ID the value should be amount, right? So the same thing we are doing here, amount here. And one more thing here, we have to generate the some new column here. Okay, for that how the value should be populated, it's asking like this. Choose. Okay, this option is not mandatory. If you want to do unmatching things, let's say I'm having some a column extra where I don't want to make unmatch. In that case, I will make this as a tick mark. But in our case, all the columns are matching, right? So we don't need to check this one. So here we need to define the values here. How the quarter values is going to be displayed here, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, right? So how the values will be coming means we have to define and generate those columns so that we can map those columns to new columns. The following output columns are generated. Means the C1 amount is mapped to the quarter 1. C2 amount will be mapped to quarter 3. C3 will be quarter 3. C4 will be quarter 4. Like this we are going to generate and map these new columns. Okay. Just click OK here. Yes, we are done with this. Go to the destination. What is our destination table here? Sales pivot, right? Select star from pivot here. Sales ID quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, right? Just go to the, try to pick that one, sales pivot. Go to the mapping here. Here it is asking quarter 1 to C1 amount, means which we have created the new columns, right? So those columns we are going to map to these values. Okay, just click OK here. Yes, we are done with this. Save it and run this one. See how many rows are coming? 12 rows. When we are done the pivot, they are converted into 3 rows. If you see here, so sales ID which we have grouped as an a 1, means 1111, right? We have grouped this one as an a 1 unique ID. Yes, and quarter 1, these are columns are pivoted here. Here quarter 1, 2, 3, 4 are converted as a new columns. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and their respective values 5000, 6000, 7000, 8000. So the values which we have created, amount 1, amount 2, amount 3. So those values are mapped to this quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. Got this? So like this we are going to do the pivot option here. Okay. So till now we have seen the pivot, means converting the values from the rows to column. Now the same thing I am going to do with the reverse, means unpivot option. Got my point? So I want to convert these values again 5, 6, 7, 8 into my original values. Means my now the, if you see this one, let me somewhat move it down. So to do the pivot here, my source will be sales pivot, right? Till now I have given the pivot like this, right? Sales details to destination as a sales pivot. Sales detail is pivoting the values and destination is sales pivot. Now I am doing unpivot here. So when I do this unpivot, what should be my source here? It is in a reverse. Means I am converting these values here. Got my point? I am converting these set into again into the original values. Means for this what I have to do, I have to truncate the sales details. Then when I do this unpivot, this 5000 again it will be came back into as a quarter one, the value will be the amount, right? When I do this quarter two value, it should become, means again back to the original position. I am doing the unpivot means again the value should be come back here. So for that sake what I am doing, I am just truncating the my sales details here. Okay, let's check it here once again. So when I do the unpivot, these values should be again converted as a rows. We have when we done the pivot, the 12 rows are converted as a 3 rows. When we are doing the unpivot, these 3 values should be converted into 12 records, right? The same thing, I mean just doing the reverse option. But here the only change is the source will be sales pivot and destination is a sales detail, and the transformation is simply unpivot. Would you like to try from your side, or you want me to explain? Okay, I will give the options here. Just try from your side. Simply, so this is the pivot, right? So this is the pivot. Let me create the one more thing, unpivot. I am renaming the package unpivot. So the same thing. Here my package name is unpivot and data flow task I have taken. So my source is here, OLEDB source only, and transformation is unpivot. See the icon itself saying that converting the all the columns into rows, and my destination is the same. There is nothing changed, just simply we have changed the transformation. That's it. The same tables we are using here. Your connection and sales pivot, right? Our here columns quarter one here we are mapping. So it's asking connection here. So what are the columns we are going to handle here? Only these columns, not complete records. Complete columns. Only these columns only we are taking care, right? So what is our destination column here? Some QTR means all these are converted into single column, right? QTR means the same column, the value should comes into this only one column, right? Previously we have 4, that's why we have given the 4. But here we are going to convert as an into the single column. That's why I have given this single name. Destination column is only one column, right? If you see here, I have only the single column name quarter. So all these values should be comes into this one. That's why my destination column is quarter I have given. And the pivot key values are 1. Just reversing to that one. If you are observed clearly pivot, it's simply quite opposite to this one. Okay. This is the pivot key column name, amount, right? So where my value should be passed into this one, right? Amount column is there where for this quarter the value should be comes into the 5,000, right? For that sake, I'm giving the pivot key column name. Okay. Simply say okay here and pass it to the destination. So what is that one? Sales details. Simply map this one. Okay. Just say okay here. See, if you observe this mapping, it was mapped like this. Amount is going to like this, quarter is like this, and sales ID to this one. Okay. No change in this. Simply go to this one and do the unpivot. Just do that. Start executing. So it's executed. Let's see how the data was came. Maybe so. Here the quarter one value. Okay, I think we have given some wrong mapping. Let's check it once again. Some naming maybe we have given wrong actually. Let me truncate this one so that once again the data should come properly here. Sales details. Okay, when I execute this one, it should be properly mapped here. Okay, stop and go and check the values. Yes, now I got this one. The same my original values when I was started. So for this first sales ID, first quarter, the value is 5,000, right? The same again, I have done the unpivot. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, I got the same values here. So like this, we'll be doing the unpivot options here. Okay, these are the two transformations where we are going to do the pivot and unpivot. So these are the pivot and unpivot transformations. Okay, now we are going to continue with the next topic, which is nothing but a transactions. Okay, let me have some brief introduction on this. So let's say I'm having one table here where I'm having some two columns in this ID and name. Okay, one some ABC. This is the first record. Okay, ID is column integer column. Here the name I have given the varchar name with size as an a 3. Means with the varchar size was an a 3 only. So when I insert the second record and given the value, what is the value I have given here? I have given the value as an A, B, C, D. Will it be inserted into this column?
No,
Why?
since we are giving varchar equal to 3.
Yeah. So means we have specified the limitation here. Means where the value is just only the size of 3. Maximum the size is 3. I mean we can give 1 or 2 or 3. Maximum is up to only 3. Apart from that, if you go 4, then it will be throws an error. Okay, till that it's fine. What happens in the real time scenario is, let's say I'm having some millions of records. Okay, so in that record, somewhere in my table will be column names will be having some 20, 30 or 40 columns I'm having. So every column will be have some specified data type, right? Let's say some it will be date, int, like this it will be having some values. So when we are inserting the records into this table, if we have given something wrong in the column name, let's say in this column only we have given it is having the limitation of ABC, maximum of 3 characters, but we passed as an a fourth character. So what should be it is happening, it is going to insert the second record, but the value for this name is not inserted, means it is taking as an a null or it's throwing some error. Okay, but here my requirement here is, so when this type of situations occurs, this entire record should be skipped. We should not enter this record completely. Okay, mean when there is some problem with this column name, then in that case I should not enter any value for this case, for this record. It should be skipped entire record. Means just only 2 and having some null value, means in that case it should not be insert any value. I want to make it as an a skip that row. Okay, how we can do this one? Let's see this. Let's start this one, then you can easily understand. So the same scenario, I'm just taking one more tab here. So for that case, I have just created one table here. Same thing which we have discussed here, ID and the name. So I'm inserting one value here and updating the second column. Okay, so let me open this one, select star from transactions. See this one, when I am inserting the second column, the normal insert I have given here, means when I done the normal insert, it has inserted ID equals to 1, the name value for the name is ABC, just 3 characters, that's why it is taking as an insert here. Why? Because the name varchar is 3 here, that's why it's taking fine. When I'm doing the same concept, inserted the first value, means inserted ID value 2, means I'm specifying the different at a time actually, and updating this column where this ID equals to 2. Okay, let me take one more example, then you can understand. Let's say I'm inserting the third value where the ID equals to 3. Means when I do this insert, the record will be inserted. When I updating the second column, it won't be get updated. Why? Because it has some condition here, which is having some limitation of size 3. But when I'm giving the D, the value should be, I mean, having the 4 characters. When I do this insert and update at a time, how the transaction will be taken care. Let's update this one. Insert and update. I'm executing this one. See this one. One rows affected means insert is done for the ID value 3. When I'm doing this update, what is throwing it option? Data would be truncated, means it is having the maximum of 3, we are giving the 4, maybe this data will be truncated, so it is saying like that, but the record was not inserted. Let's select this table, then you can understand. See, the record was inserted for the ID, not for the column. Okay, Now I want to handle this situation like this. When there is a situation like this, I don't want to insert the complete record. See, I don't want this record 3. When I do the insert and update, if anything goes wrong in the update, the entire third record should not be inserted. Okay, means it has to skip that record. We should not, it has to be rolled back. Okay, for that case, how we can handle this one is, here I am doing one small program here, transactions, one small program. Okay, just begin, try here, end try. In between to this, I have given one transaction which is nothing but begin transaction some t. I have given some small alias name, where I am doing the same thing without, I am not changing anything. Inserting into the transaction the id values as 4. Why? Because already I am having the 3. I am going to insert this one and update where this id. When I insert this one, the value for this id should be inserted this updated as like this. When this begin is begin try is successful, then make it as a commit transaction. Means if it insert and update is successful, means there is no issues in the insert and update, then commit that one. Commit means insert that data into the table. Or if something goes wrong with the try option, then it will be coming to this block, which is nothing but catch block, and we are doing the same thing as a rollback. But don't insert anything, just make it everything as a rollback. Okay, in the real time, if you see something in the ATMs, if you go and insert your ATM cards, if you are given some wrong password or wrong PIN number, what it happens, it will be roll back all your transactions. It won't give the money to you. Why? Why? Because you have given some wrong password or wrong PIN, or you have entered something wrong. So in that case, that transaction will be as rollback, right? The same scenarios we are handling here, like as a try catch block. When we are doing to, when we are trying to withdraw the amount, if we given the password as a correct, means in the same scenario, set name equals to something, right? Here we will take it as an ATM password. If you have given the ATM password correctly, then it will be committed and you will be get the money. If you have given something wrong, I mean your password is given wrong, then it has to be rolled back that transaction. Means in your account banking transaction, nothing will be handled. Your amount will be as it is. No debit, no credit. Your account will be remains the same. Okay. So let's execute this one. We'll copy this one into some new window. See. Okay, fine. So now I am going to execute this one. So will it be inserted now? Execute this one. If you see this one, it's not throwing any error, just one row affected, means insert is done successfully. When we are doing the update, it is having some condition of ABC. Only 3 characters I should be entered here, right? But we have entered the 4 characters, means it has got some issue. Then immediately it will goes to this block. It is coming to this cache block and saying that rollback. Don't commit this one, just make it as a rollback. Means 0 records inserted. Let's open this table and we'll see whether this record was inserted or not. Did you see any 4 value here? No, right? Why? Because our transactions have taken care of this. Why? Because we have given here rollback here. Entire transaction is rollback here. Means 0 rows affected.
Yeah, that's what I asked you. On what condition is it rolling back? I mean, where did you specify that it should be only like 3 characters? Did you specify?
Yeah, I mean, the very first table, when I created this table here, what is my two column names here? First column name is ID, second column name is name.
Yeah,
It
okay.
should
Oh,
be
3 characters, right?
three
Yeah,
characters, right?
okay, got it.
Okay, it should be have
Yeah.
only 3 characters. Okay, that's why I have inserted 3 characters and updating with the 4th characters for the second time. It is throwing some error,
Okay.
right, bro?
Yeah.
Now you got the point, right?
Yeah.
So when it is coming to update here, it has got some issue. That's why it's again directly jumping into the catch block and trying to roll back all your transaction which you have done. Okay, this is how our transactions will be taken care. Means we are not going to insert the complete record. We are just skipping that entire one without stopping or without having any interruption. We are just skipping that one and we are going for the next record. Like this transactions is taken care. Okay, now we will see in SSIS how it will be taken care. This is the programmatically how the transactions will be done in the backend side. Now how these options will be useful in the SSIS, how we can use this one. Simply we'll take one example and we'll see. Okay, I am going to take one new package here. I will make it as an some transactions. This is my package here. Okay. Here I am going to take execute SQL task. Again some execute SQL task. This is for insert. This is for the update. Okay. I am connecting to my database. Some dev here. In this first statement, I will give my first statement. I will take yeah 4 only. Why? Because the 4 was not inserted, right? So I will take 4 here. Just simply paste it here. Parse a query. Yes, the query is fine. Database connected. Fine. Now, once this insert is done, I want to do the update here. The same database. So, how to do the same update? I am not changing anything. How the backend program will be taken care? I am just displayed there actually. Yes, now everything is set. Okay, save this one. So, whatever that we have discussed here, everything SSIS how it will be doing is simply right click on the package, go to the properties. Okay, if you once we are done this, right click, go down here. One option you can see here, transactions options. Okay, so we have 3 options in the transactions actually: support, unsupport and required. So what does this it will be do is by default any package will be supported. Means the option is supported. Means when we are doing taking as a default option, support means in our first case itself, means it will be join that transaction in the first transaction. When I do insert and update, it will take care as an insert, but it will fail at update. Means by default the support option will be does like that. When we are doing the unsupport, what it will do is it won't join the transactions. Okay, it will be separated as an every transaction. So when we say required here, means transaction option is required, means it will be something rollback option here. Means try catch will be comes into the picture when we say required here. Means if anything goes wrong here, it will be won't update any record. Every the transaction will be rollback here. Okay, that's the options we have here. So to do the required option, I mean our try catch block, then we have to make it as these transactions required. Okay, simply we'll be make it as a required here. Just save this one and we'll execute this one. Yes, if you observe this one, it was got failed here. Package execution completed with error. Click the switch design mode to select start debugging mode. Actually, when we have to do this one, actually we have to install one more thing actually for this, specifically for transactions only. Okay, what is that one is? Go to Google here. Let me, especially in the transactions only. So what is this one is? Microsoft Distributed Transaction Coordinator. Means to handle any transactions in the SSIS, we need to be installed this plugin. Okay, until unless you install this one, it won't work in our SSIS. If you want to handle any transaction, we have to be downloaded this one and get it installed in our machine. Okay, and once this is installed, you will be need to be activate that services. Okay, so going to the all programs, administrative, go to this administrative tools and go to that services. Means for in my system it's already installed, that's why I'm not again installing. Why? Because it's already having this one. So I'm just trying to start that services, that's it. So once this is done, you will be finding this option, distributed transaction coordinator. Okay, so it's not yet started. These services should be started. How to do this service active means simply right click and start. Okay, so now this service is started. Now let's begin our package once again. Now it's see, now it was executed. Why? Because till now it doesn't have that services not yet started, means services was not started, that's why it was got failed here. So if you see this one, the first insert is successful, second one is failed. Now let's go and check our table here whether this record was inserted or not. If you see this one, that fourth record was not inserted. Why? Because SSIS has taken care of that transaction. Means if the transaction is not matching that condition, then it is doing as a rollback. So for that, what we have simply given, so in the properties, that transaction option, that's it. So if you see here, just need to specify the transaction, okay, required. Then only this transaction will be make it as a rollback. For that, we need to activate that services here. Okay. One more thing. So these can be by default I have given at the package level. If you see this one, I have given right click on the complete package, right? If we can handle at the task level also, means I want to handle this transaction at task level. See, if you see this one, the transaction is supported by default. I said it's supported, right? So every task it is saying that it's in a supported. When I'm doing this update, I want to have this required option. Means it can be handled at any level. Okay, not only at the package level. We can do the transactions committed or rollback, all all these things at any level. Okay, at a task level or in a project level also. But how to handle this one? If you want to completely specify on the package, means simply right click on the control flow, right click properties and go to the transaction. If you want to specify at the particular task level only, means just click the task and go to the task properties. You will be finding this option here. Okay, like this we can do the our transactions, we can handle our transactions. Okay, so these are all about the transactions. So if anything is needed, just let me know, I will explain you once again. Okay, that's all for today's class. Thank you all.
Thank you.